Okay, guys, I was a little taken aback when I saw this TikTok, okay, y'all? So many people stitched it and talked about it, and I am gonna talk about this deleted TikTok today. This girl a mess, y'all. Hi guys, welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you've been around here a while. I'm Kendra, this is 𝐒𝐿𝐿𝐬𝐬. This is my space where I share my life with you guys, and I also talk about other stuff too. And today, I'm going to be talking about that other stuff, particularly on TikTok. So if you guys don't know, just to give you a little background about myself, I have lost a large amount of weight, but I have been obese all my life. I'm an older millennial, so when I was growing up, we did not have cool plus size clothing stores for younger folks to shop at. So my shopping experiences were always very, very bad. There were no internet websites where you could order things online and get them delivered. So I was relegated to looking very age inappropriate for my clothing styles. And to alleviate a little bit of this, my mom actually sewed my clothes for me. Can you guys imagine that? She literally bought patterns from the store. We picked out the fabric and she went home, got on the sewing machine, and sewed outfits and clothes for me so that I could look a bit age appropriate. So based upon my background, I feel like I am fully capable of talking about this subject because it made me think about the days in which where my mom literally sewed my clothes for me because my options were so poor to find age appropriate, nice looking clothes in my size. Oh, how times have changed, and they've changed so much. I can still remember a time where I shopped in the plus size section for clothes. It literally was not that long ago. And I've been able to find clothing in my size that are cute, that I like, that I feel look good on me. And I feel like I've talked about this several times, and I've talked about it, I feel like I talked about it a lot, that clothing is literally the least of fat people's worries. Like, I get it. You want clothing in your size. You want cute clothes in your size. You just want to wear what normal size people wear. I totally get that. You want it convenient for you. You want to be able to walk into the mall or the clothing store with your friends and go shopping and find things in your size. Totally get it. That was not my experience growing up. I would go in stores with my friends and I would just kind of sit there because they did not have my size. And I feel like a lot of that has changed. Even as I was growing up, I can remember like Old Navy being one of the first brands that I can like think of in my head to like carry my size and like have cute age appropriate clothing for me. Of course, there were the Lane Bryant's, the Avenue. These are like plus size stores. And I feel like one of the like OG like cute plus size stores was Ashley Stewart. When Ashley Stewart came out, I was like, this stuff is cute. It used to be like little jean jackets and like jeans with like rhinestones. And I thought I was like on point in Ashley Stewart. And then as the years went by, there came Torrid. Torrid is chef's kiss for the girlies. And so I feel like, yeah, I get it. You're complaining, but you did not go through what I went through. So when this video came out with Leo Skepi, and if you don't know who he is, he's like an internet personality person or whatever. And I feel like his style is kind of like shock value to like curse and like say things to like shock people and just knock some sense into them, kind of like tough love a little bit. One of his videos, I don't know if it was like a short video or a longer style video, kind of caught my attention. And I actually watched it, not about this topic though. And I actually joined his Facebook group. And it's just interesting to me, like the style and like who he caters to. And like within joining like the Facebook group, I can see like his audience is like younger folks. Cause I'm like, they're literally complaining about like silly relationship stuff. Another subject for another day. But let's get into the now deleted TikTok from him, and then we're gonna have my response.
A brand not making your size in something does not give you grounds to talk and degrade the brand. Brands are allowed to want a certain look and image with their products. They are allowed to make things for the people they want to make them for. I've been seeing too many people talking recently, and it's pissing me off. People are allowed to have preferences, and brands are allowed to create an image with what they want and have a specific type of person wear what they have. Not everybody needs to be catered to by everything and everyone. And this is a lesson I had to learn when I was fat. I used to think clothes just weren't flattering. No, babe, the body wasn't flattering. But a lot of brands don't make my size, and a lot of still. And if a piece of clothing is not flattering on you, it doesn't mean the item or product is not flattering or is not good. It's not made for you. I'm a size 16 shoe. A lot of brands don't make my size. Do I waste my time and lend my energy and focus to what I don't want and what I can't have and attacking brands for not making my size? No. Every single human being is very powerful. You have to be careful with where you put your attention and your focus. For you to stick your attention and your energy on what doesn't work for you, what is not made for you, and what brands don't want you to wear their you're never gonna have mental space to think and look for and discover brands that are made for you. You can't keep focusing on what you don't want and find what you do want. Get your attention off of the shit that's not for you and the things you don't like. I'm never gonna find my size in shoes that I like if all I'm doing is sitting here crying how most brands only go to a 13. I'm gonna go buy the shoes that go to my size. But key point here, if my focus is nothing but stuck on the brands that don't make my size, I'm gonna feel nothing but frustrated, irritated, singled out, and pissed off. That's a waste of your energy. Being a human being is a very valuable experience, and it's a very precious thing. Don't waste your time on the shit that's not for you. Don't let useless nonsense irritate you. I know social media has a big mental illness of its own with contributing to people lacking perspective of what really matters. Clothes not being in every single person's size is very, very minute and a very minuscule thing compared to what else is going on in the world. Maybe go the outside and go experience some real contrast and see what other people are really dealing with and living with, and you might be a little more appreciative of your situation and the fact that you can go find other shit that does fit you. Brands are allowed to do what they want. I'm not saying they're right or wrong for discriminating. They're gonna do it. You about it is gonna do nothing but ruin your emotional state and your mental state. That's what I wanna protect you from. I gotta be a little harsh with you because I love you. But get your focus off the shit that ain't for you so you can find what is.
So he says that you don't get to talk ish and degrade a brand just because they don't carry your size or whatever. But newsflash, yes you do. Like, this is the thing with the internet. Anyone can say anything. Is it right to say whatever you say on the internet? Maybe not. Do people care? Some people do, some people don't. Does your opinion resonate with the audience? Obviously it does. I mean, you can tell that from fan acceptance. People, I guess, want, more inclusivity when it comes to sizing and brands, right? But you really can. And I feel like the only way that strides have been made in getting inclusivity with sizes and things like that is because people talk up more. If they don't call out these brands and these companies and things like that, I guess things would still be like they were when I was younger. And people didn't have, my size in the store, or there weren't stores that catered to certain sizes. The only way that things would ever change is if people started saying stuff. Now, does everybody want to be like an activist and say and speak out and do this and do that? Of course they don't. Some people are like, in his opinion, we shouldn't care. Like, you shouldn't care about that. Like, you shouldn't say anything. Like, it doesn't matter. But people's voices do. Especially on TikTok. Because once they start tagging brands and tagging the CEO and tagging people who matter and shame on you company for doing this, company executives start kind of taking note because they don't want bad publicity. It takes a while for brands to get on the board and, you know, be more inclusive with things. It does take a while, but eventually it does happen because it's happened. It's happened. And then he talks about like brands are allowed to determine if they want a certain image and a certain look about things, in which they do. Yes, of course. And you can see that with like Abercrombie and Fitch back in the day. Like that CEO man was insane crazy. Like I saw a documentary or whatever about it on YouTube, and he was crazy. He was like, he doesn't want fat people to wear his stuff. And it was a lot of bad publicity for the company because people are like, it doesn't matter, dude. It's just jeans. Like, who cares, you know? So yeah, I mean, brands can do that if they so choose to do. It's probably not the best decision as far as looking at it from a standpoint of ethics or whatever, I guess. But when it comes down to the dollar amount, they also have to make sure, does it make monetary sense? Are plus size people actually going to buy our brand, or is it just gonna sit in the stores and not sell? That's another thing you have to think about, because maybe if it's too trendy of a look or something, maybe plus size people aren't into that. I don't know. Or maybe if you look at a certain place like within the country, do plus sizes even sell in this part of the country or whatever? That's funny because when I think about it, I could think about it like living in Chicago. Like I remember going to a Forever 21 and I was just like, where's the plus size section? They were like, oh, we don't have one here. And I was like, okay. So I'm thinking maybe plus sizes didn't sell in that area of town, but they were like, oh, you can go to such and such and they'll have your size. So you also have to think about like, yeah, companies can decide if they want a certain image, look, or whatever, who gives a damn. But then also you have to think about if it makes like monetary sense for that company to make these decisions. I feel like he took a hard stance at like taking your emotions out of these decisions and not wasting your energy or your time on these like minuscule things to help you and your self-esteem and your mental health and this and that and that and this. I get that part. But like once I said, like I already said, like people want change. People want to go into the store and they want to be catered to and things like that. But we also have to realize that every brand, every clothing company is not going to cater to us. And I feel like he gave a pretty good example with his shoe size being a 16. So I wear a size 13 in women's and no one caters to me. I feel like that has also been a struggle for me to find shoes. It always has been. And to be honest with you, like the cheaper brands are the one that have carried my size. Do you guys remember Payless Shoe Store? They went out of business, although they now have like an online presence of some sort. They were literally one of the only stores that I could walk into and purchase shoes, like lady shoes in my size. As the years went on, it got a little bit better, but not really. Even stores that carry my shoe size, like for instance, The Avenue, which is a ladies plus size clothing store, they also sell size 13 shoes. I could only order them online. Like they wouldn't have 13s in the store. And that's even with Torrid now. Torrid carries my shoe size. And they also, like all their shoes are like wide width too. They don't carry 13s in the store. Like I have to order them online. And to me, it's just like, it makes feasible sense because not very many people wear a size 13. Although I could argue that because like when I went to the Payless shoe store, like all the 13s would be gone. So I'm like, who's buying all these 13s? I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But I understand the struggles, but I feel better now because I'm able to order shoes online. I'm able to find some cute shoes online. I just can't go in the store to get them. And does it suck? Yes. Do I like it? No. Is it an inconvenience? Yes. But I've gotten used to it. And it's not something that takes up mental space for me. And he's right. Like, I can't be worried about that stuff because in the grand scheme of things, shoes and clothes are really not what's important in life. And so I get his like line of thinking on that. But there was something that he said in that video that was kind of like, I'm gonna do a little eye roll. He talked about like clothes being flattering, and he was like, oh, the body wasn't flattering. And I was like, that was mean. That was mean. That was mean. And I feel like people make these statements and it's just like, why did you say that? Why? That wasn't a nice comment. And I get it, like, you're fat and like it's not the look that society deems most attractive, or it's not conventionally attractive. And maybe brands don't like that particular look, but it's realistic. This is how people actually look. My look isn't deemed to be socially what's eye-catching and pleasing. Yes, I am small, but I have all of this extra skin from losing weight. No one wants to see that, right? But why even say that the body wasn't flattering? And I think his delivery could have used some cleaning up in what he said, although it was true. Like, people shouldn't extend their extra energy or like their mental load on these types of problems that they can't change. But if they are an activist or they want to be an advocate or they want to make change, and that is something that they do spend their time on, then I'm all for that. If, hey, you know, maybe they could be a shoe size ladies 13 advocate and get some 13s in the store. I don't know. And so with all of this uproar with him and these views and people labeling him fatphobic, of course he deleted the TikTok. And then he came out with an apology video. And the reason why I say an apology video, because he said, like, this ain't an apology video. Let's talk about that one.
All right, to hit this properly, the ego is checked at the door. I got some to own up to. I deleted the video because it does the opposite of what I want to do. It made a lot of people feel unsafe with me, and that's the last thing that I want. So this is not gonna be a sappy apology video and be manipulative to try and win anybody over. This all made me realize the time in my life when I was overweight actually does trigger the out of me. And it's not the body and the way that I looked that triggered me. It's the painful mindset I was stuck in that I do not want to be reminded of. My whole childhood and early adulthood, I felt very trapped and powerless in a body and a mind that I hated. It wasn't my physical appearance. I thought it was. It was really feeling like I had no control over my life and what that perception did to me. And now whenever I feel powerless, I say jarring to myself to snap me out of an old mentality and look for empowerment. But me sharing that in the fucked up way that I did was to help a lot of you, and it ended up hurting a lot more of you instead because you feel like I judge you for the way that you look. It also made a lot of people feel like I was judging them for wanting to feel included. That's not what I stand for at all. I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable or unsafe around me, ever. But the way that I said things in that video made a lot of you feel disempowered and criticized instead of feeling like I was looking out for you. And that's always my actual intent, and that don't sit right with me. So the video's gone. But not finding my size in things is something I deal with daily. I'm 6'7" and a size 16 shoe. Clothes are a pain in the ass. Shoes, rarely ever find. Bags, the strap rarely long enough. It doesn't fit over my body. But that's a situation for me that makes me feel very powerless, is when my size is not made. And like I said, I say triggering to myself to look for the control I do have when I'm looking at things that make me feel disempowered. And when a brand doesn't make my size, I look at it like saying, F them. versus giving them my attention and begging them to include me or bullying them to include me. It's 2024. These brands know that people come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. They're aware. They're choosing not to make certain things. Either it's a financial decision or it's an attempt to actually exclude you. But my personal relationship to that is feeling disempowered and not giving any of my attention to it. But not everybody has my same relationship to this scenario or the same relationship to feeling powerless. And I don't like that my shit made a lot of people feel hurt. That's my thing to deal with. Everybody is allowed to freely speak their mind. Shouldn't have said that because I was doing it in that video. But the thing I should have communicated better was I find my power in absence. So I'm not gonna give attention to the brands who don't cater to me. I'm gonna go find the brands and focus on the ones that do, or make my own stuff when I can. With all this being said, my aversion to powerlessness and my own relationship to it and my poor communication of that made a lot of you think that I have an aversion to you because of the way that you look. And I wanna make sure everyone knows that is 100% not true. I actually do wanna say thank you to everyone who voiced their opinion and told me how hurt you were by this because it really made me reflect. When people say I'm hurt, that's my wake up call of like, you did something, because that's never my intent. So instead of sitting here and saying I'm sorry, because those are just words and they don't do anything for anybody, I'm gonna give you my word that I'm gonna continue to do any work necessary to make sure that you always know and feel that I'm looking out for you and I'm here to protect you.
So now that we've taken a look at his apology video, the only thing that I really have to say about it is that he was more calm. He was well articulated in his responses, and I understood what he said and I felt him. And only if he would have just said it like that instead of saying it like he said it before. Because the way that he said it before, he said it in that hurt way. Like he said, he was kind of like projecting his own triggered feelings into that statement. And I feel like this is the person that Fat Acceptance talks about when they talk about, oh, former fats, they used to hate themselves, or former fats, now they hate fat people. I feel like that is the person based on the intensity of his first video. That's who they talk about. But only if he had made the statement like he said there, that people should feel included. However, they don't need to lend their time and energy to brands in 2024 that don't make clothes in their size, because they know that people come in all shapes and sizes. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you for watching. Make sure you continue to spread kindness in a world full of hate. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.